Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswati Namaha. Om Shri Gurudevaya Namaha. Om Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padam Janmane Savilasa Mahamoha Graha Graseka Karmane. So Vidyaranya ji is doing an analysis of bliss. The bliss which we experience in objects, he says, is an amsha or a fraction of the bliss of the self, just as a reflection in a mirror is light of the sun. The bliss is reflected in the antakarana when the antakarana is in the right state. Antakarana just has to be in the right state, the bliss, and that will be explained now in little bit more detail. Now, he is a great fan of taking things very slowly and also in a very systematic manner. So now, if the bliss is reflected, see, the sunlight will reflect in a mirror almost 100%, but in another object it doesn't reflect 2%, 5%, 10%, whatever. In the same way, if the mind is in the right state, the antakarana is in the right state, bliss will reflect perfectly. If that antakarana is not in the right state, then bliss will not reflect properly. So then, the study of the antakarana is going to be taken up. Now we'll see this thing. From number 3 we have to see. Shanta ghorastatha mudha manaso vrittayastritha vairagyam kshantirodraryam ityadya shanta vrittayah trishna sneho ragalobhau ityadya ghora vrittayah sammoho bhayamityadyaha kathita mudha vrittayah. He describes 3 states of mind. Shanta, he calls them as vritti. 3 types of vritti. Now see, the word vritti is being used again. So how you have to understand this vritti word? We were saying that the antakarana goes out and takes the form of this object. It takes the form of that object, that is called a vritti in the mind. An akar, form. Now, suppose the mind is in a state of sadness. Now, that is not an object like glasses, but that is also a vritti. So the vrittis are of different types. When we say nama rupa, please study this a little bit more. Don't just pass over all of these words. You have to really do years of reflection on all of these. This thing has nama rupa. So the vritti in the mind has nam, glasses, rupa with two lenses there. Spectacular lenses. It has nama and rupa. So ordinarily when we speak about rupa, we are talking about some form, definite form, and we are also talking about some color and all that. The rupa word refers to all of this, right? Now see, in the mind, you don't have a definite object like this. Suppose you have in the mind sadness or gladness, whichever you do, right? Nam, you know, sadness. What about the rupa? That also is a vritti. What about that rupa? Please, now you will see, when these type of questions arise, then you understand that the word rupa is much more than what we take it to be. A shape and a color. Well, what is shape and color of sadness? So rupa now will take on an additional significance. The word rupa will take on anything that is objectifiable and distinguishable is called as rupa. So the sadness is known, it is objectifiable, isn't it? Objectified is known. So that you end up with a very interesting meaning for rupa. Rupa also means that thing, because the English translation for rupa is form. So that thing, that form which has no form. But what is the form of sadness? So then rupa has to take on a deeper significance. Rupa means anything objectified. Anything distinguishable. Sadness is clearly distinguishable from gladness. So see, when we use one word, right? So I've been using this word nama rupa for such a long time. And as you go along, you cannot just think that rupa means a definite shape and a definite color. The word has broader significance than that. Like that. Huh? So now in these verses he says, these are all vrittis. So when we say there is a vritti of sadness in the mind, or vritti of gladness in the mind, that is not the same as when we say there is a vritti of these glasses that we were doing the analysis previously, that the antakarana goes out and takes this definite shape or form. That this type of vritti and the vritti of sadness or gladness is a different type of vritti, where there is no definite shape or form or color. So now these type of vrittis, the second type is what is being really given here in this verse. It says Shanta, Ghoraha, Tatha, Murhaha, Manasaha, Vrittayaha, Tridha. Tridha means three types. Three types of vrittis of the mind. First one is called as Shanta, Shanta vritti. Shantaha. He says serene vritti. The mind is serene. Or Ghoraha. The mind is agitated. Ghora also means terrible. Terrific, terrible, like that. Ghoraha means agitated. And then Muraha means, Muraha is a well-known one. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Muramate. Mura means dull. Here what is given? Dull, yes. Manasaha, of the mind, of the antakarana, vrittayaha. Vrittaya is plural of vritti. Vrittayaha is plural of vritti. So these are the three types of vrittis of the mind. And please remember, we are talking about the second type of vritti I told you. One type of vritti with a definite name and form. Other type of vritti like sadness or gladness, there is no definite form. So this is of that type of vritti. Now, the antakarana will have these three types of vrittis. Now, if the antakarana has the first type of vritti, serene vritti, shantaha vrittayaha, if the antakarana has that type of vritti, then he says vairagyam kshanti audaryam ityadyaha shanta vrittayaha. These type of qualities will be prevalent in that mind. What type of qualities? Means in our mind, it is quite very much like what we see in ordinary life. If we have very fertile soil, we will get very healthy plants. And if you have soil like in this ashram, you don't get healthy plants. In this area, the soil is very bad actually. Here our farmers complain like anything. And there are certain places, things grow like that, isn't it? So, if the mind has a shanta vritti at its base, well, this actually, if you look at the three words, shanta vritti, ghora vritti, and mura vritti, they very much correspond to sattva, rajas, and tamas, which we know already. Sattva, rajas, and tamas. So, if there is a sattvic shanta vritti in the mind, what will emerge in such a mind? Vairagyam. Vairagya means detachment. Then, next one, kshanti. Kshanti means forbearance. Kshanti means endurance and all such thing. And here, the translation for shanti is kshanti. Kshanti. You can't say shanti, we say just shortcut. Accommodativeness. It also means patience and all such things. It's kshanti word. Means once the shanta vritti is there in the mind, these things will grow. So vairagya is a direct product of this shanta vritti and sattva. And when we say vairagya, what we mean? Not I see the Pepsi there and I'm having a Mahabharata in my mind. Mahabharata war in my mind. There's one thought, one fellow sitting on this shoulder, he's telling in this air, drink it. And the other fellow sitting on this shoulder, he's telling, don't listen to that fellow, he's a gunda, he's a crook, don't listen to him, don't drink it. Right? There is Mahabharata war is going on in the mind. That is not vairagya. That is part of the next one. The second vritti, which is called as ghora. Because the Mahabharata war is going on in the mind. Vairagya means I have really studied the nature of this world very well, and I have very, very clearly ascertained what is in my interest and what is going to bring mukti and what will not bring. And I have very peacefully and nicely left what is not going to bring mukti. Even Mahabharata war is still going on in my mind, that thing is not called vairagya. It is still that I am struggling. A struggle is going on. Vairagya is, when it's used in the Shastra, that means very, very healthy. That's why it says vairagya is born from viveka. That viveka, vairagya, shamadhi, shatka, sampatti, and mumukshutvam. That is the order which is given. That vairagya is born from very healthy viveka, with proper discrimination as to what is in my interest on the path of moksha and what is not. And therefore, I very nicely leave it. It is dropped by mature understanding. So that Vairagya is born in when the mind is sattvic and that mind has studied the Shastras well. See, all these things go together. The study of the Shastras also and the proper understanding and the internalization of the Shastra can only happen in a sattvic mind. You see? So, then the Shanta Vritti, what is born in that such a mind? Vairagya. Then Kshanti, means this forgiveness and all that. And the other word is so nice. Audaryam. Audaryam means udarata. Means large-heartedness. An all-embracing disposition. Large-heartedness. Like that. Nobility and all such things. So that type of thing is born. See, when a person is only thinking of himself, what large-heartedness is there? There is no large-heartedness. And please see, when we say a person is only thinking of himself, we are talking about the vast majority of humanity. The vast majority of humanity only think of themselves. And how much over and over the Hindu scriptures go on telling about a person who is supposed to think about the welfare of. That is how the whole Bhagavad Gita starts. The whole Bhagavad Gita is rooted in this one thing. Arjuna is only thinking of himself. And when a person is so small-hearted, only thinking of himself, he is liable to collapse anytime. And that is what happened to him. His little bubble gets blown up. And Bhagavan has to, on the battlefield, make this fellow understand the wider duty that he has towards all of humanity and posterity, all of civilization, whole world. And that is the route to enlightenment, not the small-heartedness. Audarya. Audarya word is so good, like that. Ityadyaha shanta vrittayaha. So now these are the vrittis that are there in a mind that is characterized by shanta vritti. Now, what about this ghora vritti? He says now in the next verse, Trishna snehaha raga lobhau ityadyaha ghora vrittayaha. When the mind has rajas, this ghora vritti, then what is born? Trishna. Trishna means thirst, pining, longing, like that. Trishna. And sneha. Sneha means affection. This sneha word is very interesting. See, thirst for objects, attachment. Guruji gives in his translation. Attachment. Sneha. You see here? Where is it? Bhayam sneha. Love for objects. Love for objects, not attachment. Love for objects. Sneha. Sneha word is related to snigdha. Snigdha, you know? Snigdha means oily. So if you touch some water and you keep it there, after some time the water dries up. There's no sign of it. You touch some oil, the whole there. Then what happens? That oil stays there. There's no such thing as drying up. It will stay there forever. Isn't it? So when I get in contact with objects and I become like that oil, well, so I let the objects stick to me like that. That is called as sneha. That means the objects do not go away from my mind. That is called love for objects, sneha. Raga and lobha. Raga, dvesha, likes and dislikes. And lobha means greed. So those are the type of things that spring up in our mind, that is taken over by this ghora vritti, which is born from rajasic qualities. And finally, our most favorite one, mura vritti. Then what is born in that mind? sammohaha, bhayamityadyaha, and see in this case here, all of them, ityadyaha, ityadyaha. Ityadyaha means etc., etc. Like that. And so on. So, sammohaha means samyak mohaha, not only simple moha, not only simple delusion, but in Guyanese language, properly well deluded. Proper delusion means perfect delusion. He deluded about everything. He deluded that he is deluded also, about his delusion also. Then sammoha, bhayam. Bhayam means fear. In a mind that is taken over with tamas, and the ityadyaha means all the other things like slumber, laziness, and sloth. Why do you move so slowly? I don't know. Why? I move so slowly. The tamas, muravritti. Muravritti. It leads to everything becomes like the ceiling. It is above our head. Everything becomes like the ceiling. Means that gone. So these are the things that spring up in a mind that is taken over by this tamasic muravritti. Right? No. Now, why is he telling all of this? Why is he telling about the mind like this and the antakarana and these different types of vrittis? Well, there are two things. So one is, of course, it is always good to study the nature of the mind, because the mind only is the source of bondage or liberation. This is what the Upanishads tell. So you have to study the mind. But he is studying it specifically for identifying the consciousness which is reflected in each vritti. And this is the direction in which he is going to go. There is consciousness which is reflected in each vritti. And now, we told that the reflecting surface will determine the amount of light that is reflected, isn't it? It is dependent on the reflecting surface. And also, we said that depending on the state of mind, in the very same way, depending on the state of mind, consciousness will be reflected to that degree also. So the consciousness reflects in some minds with the right vritti, consciousness reflects more, and with the not so right vritti, consciousness reflects less. Now, we also said Sat, Chit and Anand, they are one and same. So if consciousness is not reflecting properly in that mind, it means Anand also will not reflect properly. So getting the right state of mind is important, necessary for the proper reflection of Anand, because this chapter topic is about Ananda, isn't it? So now that is the direction in which he is going to take, us. Vrittishvetasu sarvasu brahmanaschit swabhavata pratibimbati shantasu sukham cha pratibimbati. He says, Vrittishu tasu etasu sarvasu. So, etasu sarvasu vrittishu, in all of these vrittis, which vrittis? All the different type of vrittis we talked about just now. Whether it is Shanta vritti, whether it is Ghora vritti or Mura vritti. He says, Brahmanaha chit swabhavata. Not the vrittis, in all of these vrittis, the consciousness reflects. Pratibimbati, shantasu sukham cha pratibimbati. But in a shanta vritti, means consciousness reflects in all of these vrittis. Of course, in varying degrees, right? Because one whose mind is taken over by murata, let us say, is not very much aware of much things. If the mind is taken over by this dullness, he is aware, but kind of vaguely aware. And one whose mind is taken by the Shanta Vritti, that fellow is very much aware, acutely aware of things. So the consciousness, or the awareness, is reflected variously in those type of mind. But he said now in the second line, Pratibimbati shantasu sukham cha pratibimbati. But in a mind that is characterized by this vritti of shanta, or shanti, shanta vritti, that mind also reflects some bliss along with consciousness. And the mind is taken over by ghora or mura vritti, doesn't reflect any bliss. Now, this is a very interesting thing. How the same awareness is reflected in ghora or mura vritti, these two second ones. Reflected there, consciousness is reflected, but the bliss aspects is not reflected. Well, he'll give examples of how this is possible. In the world, we can see things, for example, we'll see as one thing, and he gives the example of fire. It will come just now. So this is the question that's going to be understood, going to be explained. How come this self, which is of nature of Sat, Chit, Anand, reflects in a mind, and only Sat and Chit reflects, but Anand doesn't reflect? Because that will be the natural question that will arise. If anybody asks, well, is the same self reflecting there? It's a very simple thing we see. See, the sun is coming through a window, and inside we get the light aspect of the sun, but we don't get the heat aspect of the sun. Like that. Maybe we can do things to make sure only the light aspect comes inside and the heat aspect doesn't come. And he'll use the example of fire. Now see. Which question are you going to answer? How in the sattvic mind all Sat, Chit, Anand, all three reflect. In the Rajasic and Tamasic mind, the Sat and Chit reflect, of course in varying degrees, but not Ananda. He said that is possible because we see examples in nature. What is the example? You see, he slowly takes up, answers this question all very slowly takes up. Rupam rupam babuvasau pratirupa iti shrutihi upama suryaketyadi sutrayamasa sutrakrita eka eva hi bhutatma bhute bhute vyavasthitah ekatha bahutha chaiva drishyate jalachandravat jale pravishtaschandroyam aspashta kalushe jale vispashto nirmalo tadvat dvetha brahma pivrittishu. Three verses go together now. One of them is copied directly from the Amrita Bindu Upanishad, the middle one. Rupam rupam prati bhuvasau prati rupam rupam babhuva Pratirupaha. Babhuva asau pratirupaha, like that. This is the Sandhi there. Babhuva asau means to say the consciousness is there reflecting in every rupa, means every vritti which is there in the mind, there is consciousness. Upama suryaka, suryake, upama suryaka ityadi. Sutra yamasa sutrakrit. Sutrakrit means Ved Vyasji. Sutrakrit. Sutrakrit means the one who made the sutras. Who made the sutra? Which sutra? Brahma Sutras are being referred to. Brahma Sutras. And who is that one? Ved Vyasji. He, in the sutras of Brahma Sutras, he has used upama, example of Surya ityadi, sun and moon, etc. He has used an example to show how the Shruti tells that the self has entered into all of the forms. It means the self which is reflecting as all of the various forms. And he says, Eka eva hi bhutatma, there is one absolute reality, self, bhute vyavastitaha, which is there existing in all things. It means the self has taken on all of these forms. Ekada bahuda cha eva, being one, even though it is one, ekada bahuda cha eva drishyate, it is seen as many. You please remember what I told in the beginning. He is going to answer how the self reflects in some antakarana as Sat and Chit, but reflects in others Sat, Chit and Anand. So now he starts by telling that one self, which is that Supreme Paramatma, is there in all forms. It is there reflecting in all forms which we see in the world. Even though being one, it appears as many. And he gives an example, Jalachandravata. This is the Upanishad which he quotes. And I told you in the beginning, when we were saying Tattvamasi Mahavakya Ityadi, there, that all of those verses he copied from Upanishad, and he did not give any citation. Here again, this is copied from the Amrita Vindu Upanishad and no citation. And in Hinduism it is not called plagiarism, it is called as repetition. Because the Shastras is meant for all. There is no copyright on Shastras. Nowadays, organizations put copyright of this and that and all that kind of thing, but there is no copyright on Shastras. So he doesn't need to put any citation. That one self, which is there, which is one, appearing as many, like Jalachandravat means one moon. And it appears in this pond, in that bucket, in that well, everywhere, same moon appears. So it appears as many. And so you have many moons. But there is no such thing as many moons. Except if you are a native Indian and you are talking about many moons ago. They use that term. Jale pravishtaha chandraha ayam aspashta kalushe jale. If the water in a bucket is muddy, in one bucket if the water is muddy, well, in that bucket the moon will not be reflected properly. But vispashtaha nirmale jale tadvat dvetha brahma api vrittishu. But in another one, which is vispashta, means clear water, you will see a clear moon, isn't it? So now he's using this example, therefore, from ordinary life, where we see, because the reflecting surface in the muddy bucket with muddy water, that reflecting surface is dull. So when that moon reflects in there, you don't get a clear reflection of that moon. Then in the other one, where the water is clear, you get a clear reflection of the moon. So it is not the moon's fault, it is the fault of the reflecting surface. Moon is a moon, all the time same. So if the reflecting surface is proper, the reflection is proper. Reflecting surface is not good, then the reflection is not good. Now this is one thing. This is about reflection of consciousness. So the reflecting surface of a sattvic mind is good. So Brahman reflects properly in all of its glory. Satchit Ananda. Reflecting surface in a rajasic mind. Reflecting surface of a rajasic mind. Not so good. So only Sat and Chit. And the reflecting surface of a tamasic mind. Sat and Chit, and that too not so clear. Like for example, you think about a person whose mind is so taken over by tamas, like I see. There's what you call absent-minded professor. Have you heard? Professor comes with a walking stick every day. Absent-minded professor. Leans up the stick in the corner of the room and goes and sleeps on his bed. Goes and sleeps on his bed. Every day. Leans up the stick in the corner of the room and goes and sleeps on the bed. But after some time when he became absent-minded, he puts the stick on the bed and goes and leans up on the corner. Cover his stick and everything nicely. What is this thing? No awareness reflecting in that mind. This is a mechanical action. The mind has become dull. That is called tamas. So, in the tamasic mind, the Sat and Chit reflect, but not so good. Now, he explains this now further, how the bliss aspect is veiled in these type of minds. An impure mind. Ghora mudha sumalinyat sukham shascha tirohitaha Ishannairmalyatastatra Chidamsha pratibimbanam Ghora mudhasu. Now in the two minds, see, in the mind which is Ghora, which has Ghora vritti and Mudha vritti. Ghora mudhasu malinyat, due to the impurity of in these two types of mind, Sukham shascha tirohati. The Sukha amsha or the Sukha portion of Satchit Ananda, the Sukha portion is veiled. Tirohati. Sukha portion doesn't reflect in these two types of mind. But Ishat Nirmal Yataha Tatra Chidamshaha Pratibimbanam. But in a pure mind, in a mind that which has the Shanta Vritti, a bit actually, because these two types of mind will have only, see, it cannot have 100% impurity, you see. The two types of mind which we are talking about, which is called, the one is Ghora Vritti and the one with Mudha Vritti. Please remember, in this world, everything is relative. When we say it is impure, we mean relatively impure. It will have a little bit of sattva. This is another principle. I don't know if I mentioned in this class, but I mentioned in so many previous classes. Everything must have all three gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamas. There is nothing in the world with only one guna or two gunas. That is not possible. All three gunas must be there. So when we say a mind that is sattvic, it doesn't mean that a mind totally devoid of rajas and tamas. It must have little bit of rajas and tamas. I mean, when someone is rajasic, must have the other two also. And same for tamasic. So now, in the mind that is impure, little bit of bliss might be there. The person, he'll get little bit of that bliss. Chidamshaha pratibimbanam. Slight purity. Consciousness is reflected in these types of mind. Consciousness is reflected, but the ananda is veiled. That is the idea. Sukhamshaha tirohati. Now, what about the mind that is pure? That is given one verse all by itself. Yadvapi nirmale nire Vahne raushnyasya sankramaha Vahne raushnyasya sankramaha Na prakāshasya tadvat syāt Chinmatrodbhutireva ca. Yadvapi nirmale nire, in pure water, right? Vahnehe aushanyasya sankramaha na prakāshasya tadvat syāt. Like when you take water, pure water, and you put it on the stove. Not on the stove without a pot, but in a pot. You put it in a pot and put it on the stove, and you light the fire. Now that fire has heat and light, two things. But out of the two things, what gets transferred into the water? Only the heat. The light doesn't get transferred into or transmitted into the water. This is the example which is being given. So, in the mind that is impure, and a mind that is impure, the consciousness is reflecting in that mind to some degree. But the other aspect of the consciousness, which is bliss, that does not get reflected. In other words, what I told you in the beginning, he is giving examples of where there are two gunas in something or three gunas in something, but the reflecting surface can only reflect one guna or two gunas out of the three. It cannot reflect both or all three like that. And the example which he is giving now is water. No matter how much you boil that water, it will not get bright. Like the fire. You know how to make holy water? Yeah, you put it on the fire and boil the hell out of it. It will become holy. If all the hell goes out, I suppose heaven will be left only. Anyway, so he says, Nirbale nire vahnehe aushnyasya sankramaha, means as the heat is transferred, not to prakāshasya tadvat, and not the light, syat chinmatrodbhutireva ca, in the very same way, in the mind which is being spoken about previously, which is ghora and mura vritti mind, such a mind will only reflect the chit along with sat also. The verse is giving chit only. Here only chit is being spoken about. But please remember, chit and sat is by upalakshana also meant. In other words, only one of the two of the gunas are reflected and not the third one. And he gives another example also. And in this example, both these things are reflected now. See, Kashte tvaushnya prakāṣau dvau. Udbhavam gacchato yatha. Shanta sukha chaitanye. Tathaivodbhutimapnutaha. Kashta means a piece of wood. Kashta, in a piece of wood, in 7 cases given. In a piece of wood now, what? To aushnya prakāṣau. You see how easy it is to learn Sanskrit. You see these verses. When you learn the grammar in the class, quickly you go and you take up some verse like this and see. Aushnya Prakāshau. Then you know that Prakasha has to be masculine, like Rama Lakshmanau. Prakāshau, see? Or in the next line also, Sukha Chaitanya. See in the second line. Sukha Chaitanya means Phalam Phale. So then you know Sukham and Chaitanyam, they are neuter like Phalam. Because in the dual is A. So anyway, that is different thing. Prakāshau dvau udbhavam gacchataha yatha. Now you take a piece of wood and you put it in the same fire. Just now where you put water. Take water and put there. Only the heat aspect of the fire goes into the water. So one guna from the fire goes into the water. That is the heat aspect. Not the light aspect. Doesn't go into the water. Now you remove that water. Put a piece of wood now. Oh, now from this, when you put this piece of wood, both the heat and the light go into that wood, isn't it? In other words, you see the wood glowing also. Not only is it hot, but it's also glowing bright. So, Shantasu Sukha Chaitanye Tatha Udbhutim Apnutaha. Tatha eva udbhutim apnutaha means both of them go what now? In a calm mind. Shantasu means in a mind that is calm. Both the Sukha and Chaitanya get reflected. And I told you the third one, which is Sat, is understood. The Sat is understood. Otherwise, there were three gunas, Sat, Chit, and. In fact, it is necessarily understood. Sat is always necessarily understood. Because the Chit and the Sukha, they exist or not? If we are talking about them, that means we are talking about their existence. Yes. So it is necessarily understood. Both Sukha and Chit, Chaitanya hai. Sukha and Chaitanya. So both the things get reflected in a mind that is pure, and a mind that is impure. Only one, the Chit, which of course exists. You see, and that now he concludes in the next verse. The conclusion is given in verse number 12 of all of this discussion. What is the conclusion? Vastu swabhavamashritya vyavastha tu bhayo sama anubhutyanusarena kalpyate hi niyamakaha makam kalpyate hi niyamakam vastu swabhavam ashritya vyavastha tu upayoho sama. It means to say that actually the translation given for this upayoho sama is different in the Advaita Ashram translation. It means to here the translation which is given, the thing remaining the same, that is given for upayoho samaha. The thing remaining means this translation is given here. The fire remaining the same, depending on the swabhav of the vastu swabhavik, the nature of the vastu. So in the case of the nature of water, it will only reflect the heat, and the nature of the piece of wood is different. That will reflect both heat and light. Vastu remaining the same, the thing remaining the same. What is the thing here? Fire. Because the fire is equal to both the wood and the water. But it is not up to the fire to determine what guna will reflect there. It is dependent on that vastu, that object. That is the idea. And anubhuti anusarena kalpyate hi niyamakam. It means the properties of what will reflect what. Means what property is there in wood and what property is there in water. We know those things only by experience. In other words, we put the water on the fire and we see that the water only took the heat. We put the wood on the fire and we saw that the wood took both the heat and light. And from that we determine, oh, this reflecting surface only reflects one guna. This reflecting surface reflects two gunas. And from that type of experience we know in a dull mind or rajasic mind, this agitated mind, only chit is reflected, chit with sat. And in a sattvic mind, chit and sukha is reflected. And this is very much in line with our analysis in the beginning, which was, when there is an agitation in the mind, there is sorrow. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. There's agitation, there is sorrow, I am not getting it. When I get it, that agitation simmers down. When the agitation simmers down, that mind becomes shanta. So shanta vritti is now in that mind. In that shanta vritti, there is the immediate reflection of sukha, along of course with consciousness, which was there in any case. But now sukha is reflected in that shanta mind, antakarana. When that shanta vritti is there in that antakarana, the sukha is reflected. When the sukha is reflected, we now equate the acquisition of the sukha to the obtaining of the object. And we now impute the sukha to the object. There's a mix-up which happens there, which we are not aware. And that's why Shastra and tradition is there to tell, no, you just made a wrong ascription. The sukha came from the object, but it is the sukha aspect of the self which got an opportunity to beam out in a mind that acquired that shanta vritti. You see, it is not that the sukha came from the object. And we do that quite often also with many other things. We impute one thing to, or superimpose one thing on another. There is a wrong ascription all the time. That's from childhood you're experiencing that every day. How many times your parents blame you for something which the other sibling did? Because you are in a nature, your nature is always to do all them kind of thing. And even the day when that fella did that thing, you still get blame. Wrong ascription. Who stole the butter from the, on what I was told, from the fridge? The what? Condensed milk, correct. Who stole the condensed milk from the fridge? Take an ant and put it on both her lips and see which one the ant will stay on, Okay, the ant will stay on the sweet lip. But the parents quickly tell, he this fellow. And they have to tell in Hindi also, Bara Badmash. Bara Badmash Ba in Bhojpuri. Bara Badmash Ba means, yeah, over wicked, this fellow. So, that throughout your life there is always wrong ascription over and over. And there are many people who count on that wrong ascription. So the delusion is multiplied. I mean, we count on the delusion and we actually multiply the delusion and we use the delusion to our benefit. So therefore, you see, in all this politics, it's only about that only. In politics, it's only about that wrong ascription. You say, this fellow did it, he caused it, as long as I didn't cause it. But he's the one who actually caused it. But it has to be made to look like. Amazing thing this. How human beings spend time only to perpetuate delusion. All our efforts and all. So this topic about now the proper frame of mind promotes the reflection of the sukha. This is the road in which he is going down. And the scriptural teaching is we have three types of mind: sattvic, rajasic and tamasic mind. And just as we see in nature that certain surfaces only reflect certain gunas, so also the sattvic mind reflects Satchit Ananda, and the other type of mind cannot reflect all the qualities, they only reflect Sat and Chit. But you have to remember, the mistake is not made at that point. The mistake is made at the point of the ascribing or the determining as to the source of the sukha, joy. The mistake is made. The crux of the matter in Vedanta is this point, where the mistake is made as to the wrong ascription. Means I am ascribing this sukha to the object when it is in fact the self which is reflecting in that mind. If this is remembered, and there's a nice point of focus, a point of deep reflection. It is wrong ascription. Okay, we'll see this tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.